Hey you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? I was getting some really cool insights about feminism and the patriarchy and our kind of historical context. And then it really led into any ism that we have created in our contextual or conceptual story of our humanity. And sort of digging deep into what it means inside of us as humans, and then to realize that, you know, in such a way we are divided as men and women. We represent different elements of creation, right, as beings, and yet the energy of femininity and masculinity are contained within each of us as beings. And of course, how we present ourselves would be a different, depending on our birth chart, depending on our genetic coding and our parentage and our ancestry and our karma. Like, all of those things make up the individual essence that we are. So we're looking at it, and I'm looking at it from my perspective. I grew up Catholic. My parents got divorced when I was little. My mom went back to school, studied women's studies, and she also suffered like a huge depression. And part of my reality was seeing the female denied, the feminine energy denied. So how I see it is that it really isn't a battle against like the patriarchy as in male dominance. So the idea of male dominance really does come from how I intuit it. It's at some point along the path of creation on this planet, we denied ourselves, or we denied the emotional part of ourselves. So we deny the emotion as less than, and prioritize the mental body, prioritize our thinking, our rationality, our linearity. And that ultimately, how we understand it in wholeness, is the male or the masculine energy part of ourselves. So how we take action, how we, yes, think in those terms, in rational terms, that's the masculine part of ourselves. Now, as someone who's been on this transformational journey, a big part of transformation is coming into wholeness, into balance. And how I rediscovered that was really honoring the fullness of my emotional body and allowing myself to feel into great depths. And ultimately, through that journey, a great healing has taken place, a sort of a sense of abundance and flow and intuitive knowing and groundedness and a belongingness from within my own self. And that sense of unity allows my mind and my perspective to expand to a different field, a different quantum field, which as a human, going from what some people call the matrix or the 3D reality, or we could just say an imbalanced perspective of male dominance, as I come into greater unity in balancing my male and female aspects, in holding dear my masculinity and my femininity, and recognizing the integrity of this practice as a part of our human evolution, it's these insights come to me, right? And so I realized that as we tell stories upon stories upon stories, and we start to we sort of create greater chaos within our matrix in order to usher in this evolution, right? That I realized that any ism is in a way still a false perception, because it's a backlash. It's still a form of resistance. It's a fighting against our own integrity, our own wholeness. So any ism, there's still like a fighting against it. So sexism is just us fighting against our own, I want to say sex, our own self, you know? Racism is like a fighting against the injustice of the fact that we are all one, and that it doesn't matter the color of our skin or the size of our body or the color of our hair, or whatever, or how much money we have, or any external form of creation is really just what we've created, or the story we've told up to this point. And the only way to really transform those isms, which is a form of conflict within our own self, is to unify them from within our own self, to see the true unity and the power in our oneness and our wholeness, right? And then in a way, like, these huge barriers from within ourselves can just fall away, and there's a greater depth and a greater knowing within ourselves. And then we can just shine that for one another and be that in the presence of one another. And it's that presence, that's the new paradigm, that's the new earth, that's the benevolence and the abundance that we create for one another by tapping into it from within ourselves. There's just no other way to do it. we just have to be it. And then that makes me think of the online courses for Be the Change, and the simplicity of it, this wild ride of life that I've been on. And then the more I've let go, the more life just like unfolds, and you end up with new things and new realities and new people to feed off of and reflect back. But it's much more harmonious, it's much more high vibrational, it's much more supported because of the integrity that you've tuned into within yourself. So any ism is really just like a creation from a backlash of a distorted perception or an imbalanced perception. And the only way to really transform that is to unify from within yourself, your totality, which is your male and female, and recognize that any form of imbalance is going to be a form of dominance, right? Which is why we see in the physical reality a perpetuation of male dominance in our realities, is because we're still holding that imbalance within ourselves. So I know that after the summer I've had, that there's definitely an outworking of and it's paradoxical how it looks. So an outworking of male dominance is also like a imbalance of myself still seeking, weirdly, right? Unconsciously seeking that dominance in my life. And so a deeper healing has allowed this sense of integrity to see through these veils, and then to own that, and suddenly just be like, oh yeah, this is how my wholeness looks, not the other. But sometimes we have to keep seeing the other a few times before we suddenly go, and then we drop deeper, feel into deeper insights, feel more connected, more expanded, more like life is a technicolor dreamboat, because it really is. And then just flow from your heart space, basically. I think that's all. I think that's all for you guys. To live, I hope it was useful to you. And if you have any comments or insights or things to share off the back of that share, let me know how it goes. I love you loads. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share and do all of that glorious stuff, because it's so useful. It's all your donations and stuff are just so useful and helpful and so much appreciated. So sign up and subscribe, and I hope it was useful, maybe even entertaining. I don't know. But I love you guys. See you later. Bye.